So today I thought I'd take you through a normal kind of quieter day in my life where I'm just looking for new work opportunities and jobs. I'm trying to live a balanced life, I guess, and also just trying to progress and keep up to date with my acting. And this is a quieter day because starting from next week, I think I'm doing 4 weeks of working 6 days a week. So I'm trying to invest in like having the other elements that I won't be able to keep up as much with the acting and with like other elements of life and things that I do before I start those 4 weeks of work. But to start off with, I'm going to have breakfast because that's obviously the most important meal of the day and I want to be a good influence on this channel. And also I want to look over some of the film submissions I've been sent to review because I've signed up on a voluntary basis to be a reviewer for the Sunderland Shorts Film Festival. So I get all of these different films and like your job is to look at them and see if there's any content warnings that need to be put there, write a little bit about it, and you have to rate it out of 10. You can rate it out of 10 in all these different categories. And I just think it's a productive thing to do. It's quite an inspiring start to the day. It's a bit risky as well because sometimes you end up with like a really sad, emotional like film that affects you for the rest of the day and you're like, wow, like I'm not usually that affected by them, but there was one that just made me cry first thing in the morning. And I never cry at films, but it's something that's a bit different and it's really interesting because I'm always watching stuff and looking at it through that kind of very critical lens and looking at it from the technical aspect. So I think it's really interesting to do, very fun, so I'll do that. So I've got ready now and I'm about to go out and see a friend, but I'm very aware that this is a very privileged thing to do because it is a Monday morning and like ideally, should I be working on a Monday morning? Yeah, probably. And I always feel a little bit of like guilt and weirdness about that, but also like it's a privilege that I am still able to go out and see friends while I can. Once I get more work, like I'm applying for a lot of jobs and this period of life when I have time to go see them in the middle of the day is temporary. I'm trying to like make the most of being able to spend time with my friends. So I'm back now and I actually wasn't out too long, but now I've got some job applications to do. Like I really want to make a cover letter that's really focused and specific, showing like I understand the company, it's covering everything on their job description, and also like I like to make it more about like this is what I could do for you, and like if we had an interview this is what I'd want to talk to you about, this is what I think I can contribute kind of vibe, because I think there's a difference between that and being like, I feel aligned with your company, like that's great, lots of people can say that, but like I want to be like proactively, this is what I could do for you kind of thing, because I think it's a lot about the technique of writing applications. So I'll need to do that. I had 2 job interviews actually last week I think, but like potentially nothing could come from them, so I feel like I always have to be applying to so many jobs all the time. And I feel like it's almost like a job in itself. So I can't just have like a normal like work life and then come back from work and not have job related stuff to do. But that's just kind of acting as well because there's also auditions. It's just a lot of work, isn't it? But I'm going to do that and stop rambling on because it's not very interesting, is it? It's just job applications. So it's been a little bit of time. I sent off my application. I thought I was doing really well, being really productive. I thought, wow, I'm having such a productive day, such a successful day. And then like an hour maybe after sending off the application, I hear it's a no. And I'm like, that's crazy. They're getting back to people so fast. But I think they'd had over 150 applications. Like some jobs have so many applications and others have less. And I don't really understand how you work out which ones have more applications and which have less. But that's life, I guess. That's just the way job searching works sometimes. And I've also written my presentation for Spanish because it's Monday, and every Monday evening, I guess hopefully people can't stop me from this, but every Monday evening I go to a Spanish group, and this is a bit more of a like people learning Spanish group. So we speak all in Spanish and we have a presentation on a theme that we do. And then there's another one I can go to on a Wednesday, which is more like people who have lived in Spain, native Spanish speakers, and it's a bit more intense. But this one, Like, I've prepared my presentation. It's on edificios, which is buildings, which it's a bit difficult to work out what to say about that because I feel like I'm not an expert on all of these different topics. But I've actually been such a regular attender of the Spanish group recently, and I think it's really paying off because some people who have missed a few weeks of Spanish recently have been really nice to me actually and have been saying that my Spanish is improving, which is really kind of them. I'm not trying to show off about that, but I just think like sometimes you can feel like you're not working and you're not getting anywhere, but if you keep consistently showing up to stuff, you will make progress. So I've prepared my Spanish presentation, and now I've got these monologues that I need to learn for a tape. It's not urgent at all. I have quite a bit of time, but I just think the longer I spend learning them and the more I familiarize myself with the text, if I have time to do that, the easier it will be to tape and the more comfortable I'll be with it. And I also have to learn an accent, so maybe I'll do a bit of an accent chat later on because I've been having to do accents quite a bit more for tapes recently, and I had to do it for a performance earlier on in the year, and I think I've got better at doing accents, so we can chat about that later. But that's what I'm going to do, then I'm going to go to Spanish. So I went out to Spanish, came back from Spanish, went out again, and then came back again. And I think I'm realising, and I realise this to be fair every time I film a video like this, that I'm actually a very private person. And I also don't want to show my area and where I live, which makes just filming a day very difficult. But I think it's interesting to see the kind of structure of a day because like you have all these big successful people and you know about all of their achievements across their lifetime, but are they doing loads and seeming that like intensely successful and busy on a day-to-day basis every day? No, probably not. But what I try to do every day is send myself off to at least like one job application or something, just so I know that I'm taking steps forward and doing things to help myself progress long term, because it's all of these little things that you do that build up and lead to you making progress. I also wanted to chat about accents because I did a tape recently in a different accent that I got given redirection on, that I've been sent back to refilm and do in a different way. However, I needed clarification on the redirection and I thought I'd have heard back from that today, but I actually haven't. So I could have done that kind of American accent with you, but then I never heard back. And also, this tape that I'm working on now, I think it's not really giving anything away to give accents away. This is meant to be done in a general northern accent, which confuses me because there are so many different accents in the north. Like, what kind of accent is a general northern accent? I don't really know. So I've been researching into that, but I think what I actually want to do at the moment is focus on knowing the words, so then I know that, and then I know what kind of sounds are in the script, and then I can go from there and work on the accent after I've got the script down and solid. But I just wanted an excuse really to have the opportunity to speak about accents, because for ages accents would just like put me off and I'd be like, oh, I can't do that accent. But I think really you can learn any accent, and I'm refining my process with approaching that, because before I just would feel very overwhelmed about that before probably this year, because since then I've done whole roles in different accents. So obviously it is a very big topic, but I thought I'd talk about a few very small things that I've been doing with my tapes especially. And what I would say about doing an accent for a tape is that like if they really want you, even if your accent's a bit off, like you'll have time in the rehearsal process and like with them giving you redirection to be able to get the accent. So firstly, what I try to do is take the pressure completely off of myself. But what I've realised I can do recently is AI. Like, I'm not very technically advanced, like to do with AI, I'm not very knowledgeable, but I found there are AI sites where you can put in your lines and it will read them back to you in like a more human sounding voice, and you can pick loads of different people to read it out to you, so you can get used to hearing it in lots of different voices from that accent, and from there you can notice patterns. I'll also do a little bit of research into the accent because I think some key sounds are in certain accents and there's a certain pattern of speaking and like way of speaking. Like some accents are more kind of like sing-songy and other accents are a bit more like clipped and staccato. So learning about the patterns and like the key features, I guess, of the accent is helpful. But then when I'm listening to the accent, I will write out phonetically how I think that's said in my accent, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but I could pick some words and demonstrate what I mean. Like, if I wanted to say the words "you're not" in an American accent and I listen to it, like, it's not so much a "you're," it's like Y-E-R in my kind of accent. Like, it's like "you're," and then "not" is not really, like, the O sound isn't so much of an O, it's always more of an A kind of sound in Americans, so it's more like nut, because it's like you don't really pronounce the T either. So instead of "you're not," it's like "you're not." So that's basically a little bit of an accent lesson from me. I've not really trained as much in accents. Like, I think the fact that I've not been to drama school means that I've just spent less time focusing on the actual technicalities of learning an accent. Like, I did a bit of a few different voice lessons and I've learned a lot more actually than just that, but that has been something that I've been using as part of my process. And I like to speak in accents a lot just so I get used to making those kind of sounds. I mean, there are many other things that I could also say about accents, but that's just a few of the things that I've been doing a bit more often than I used to, and I'm just trying to be more confident at my ability to learn accents. And there's so much I could say on accents. Like, if you want to hear more about accents, then I could do a video on that. But I just think also then I'm just taking stuff that I've learnt from other people as well and putting it into a video, and is that really fair to just take their technique and their process and then benefit off of that? I'm not sure, but that's my specific process and what I've been doing. So that's a little bit of a chat about acting. That's a little bit of an insight into my life. Each day is quite different, but that's just some random day in my life, so I hope it's been like not really boring, I guess, but maybe it has been. But thank you so much for watching anyway. Please do subscribe because I really appreciate it. I love reading the comments as well, so thank you so much to everyone who comments on my videos and watches my videos. I really appreciate it, and thank you. Bye!